Okay. I guess we are done with all formats, all accounts required in this question. Working note will be done after all these five accounts. रेट का कॉलम गरिमा ऑप्शनल है बेटा, आपको दिखाना है तो आप दिखा सकती है, ठीक है. रेट कॉलम इज ऑप्शनल. इफ यू वांट टू ऐड, यू वांट टू शो रेट आल्सो, देन यू कैन ऐड वन कॉलम ऑन बोथ साइड्स, ठीक है. ये ऑप्शनल है. चलिए बेटा, तो ये पांचों अकाउंट हमने बना लिए हैं और अब मैं क्या करता हूँ कि इसमें वैल्यू पुट करना स्टार्ट कर देता हूँ. चलिए पहले मैं क्वेश्चन की स्क्रीनशॉट मैं भी ले लेता हूँ ताकि मुझे बार बार अप डाउन ना करना पड़े. ओके जी. First of all, we are making process A account, right? So whatever input are given to us, that is recorded on debit side of this account. Okay, sir. The process is simple. On debit side, we record input, and on the credit side, we record output. So in process one, first of all, I write material, or you can say direct material account. Okay, sir. Most of the expenses incurred in process are direct. It is 1000 units at the rate of rupees 20 per unit. 1000 units at the rate of rupees 20 per unit. So it becomes 20,000. Okay, sir. The next is amount of labor. The labor will have amount only. Okay, sir. We are concerned with quantity of material only. Okay, sir. Only materials quantity are to be filled in the unit column. All other things are recorded in amount column only. Next is overheads. Now the amount of overhead is rupees 8,000. So these are the inputs which have been introduced in process A. Okay, sir. The question further states us that we expect a normal loss of 5% on input in process A. The scrap of whatever material is lost, whether it is normal or abnormal, is rupees 5 per unit, and the output is 910 units. Okay, sir. So let us get back to part of working note. Working note for process A. Okay, sir. What is the input quantity? Input quantity is 1000 units. Less. Normal loss which is expected loss and it is predicted in the beginning of process in advance. So normal or expected loss at 5%, it is 1000, 5% of 1000 becomes 50. So 950 is our expected output. Right, sir? 950 is our expected output from process A. But the question given gives us that the actual output is actually 910 units. So what do we experience here? Please students let me know whether it is abnormal loss, abnormal gain or no abnormal loss and no abnormal gain. बताइए बेटा क्या हुआ है यहाँ पे? 950 was expected but the actual output is for 910 units only. So yes Rajesh, you are correct. Yes Mohit also. Here we have experienced abnormal loss of 40 units. Okay sir, it is our abnormal loss of 40 units. Yes bachcho, very good bachcho. Yes Archana, Nitish and you are also correct. It was quite easy for us. Input introduced for 1000. We expected that 50 units will be lost. So we are expecting our output would be 950 units. But at the end of the process, we came to know that the actual output is 910 units. So there is an abnormal loss of 40 units. Okay, sir? Chaliye, I guess this is done by you. So let us get back to process. So first of all, what I will write here, I will put normal loss on credit side. I will write 50 units and will value it at scrap price, at scrap rate. Scrap rate is rupees 5 per unit, so amount becomes 250. I also write abnormal loss here. Okay, sir. Abnormal loss are also part of output. These are actually those output which have been lost or which have become defected, which cannot be corrected at all. So we have to value what are the units of abnormal loss. Abnormal loss is for 40 units, but I need to calculate amount of these abnormal loss. Okay, sir. This is a question how to value our abnormal loss. Whatever units are left, that units will be transferred to next process, which is process B. Or you can write by units transfer to process B, or I simply write here process B. 910 units, and here again I need to find out what are the value of my units that will be transferred to next process. Okay, sir. So I'm going back to my work node again, and we are going to calculate value of our abnormal loss and final output. So what we actually do, my dear students, we actually calculate unit cost. What is meant by unit cost? That is per unit cost. Okay, sir. So it is actually net cost of process A. What is meant by net cost? It is cost of material, cost of labor, plus cost of overhead, minus scrap of normal loss, divided by expected output. Okay, sir. We make cost calculation in the beginning of period itself. Therefore, in the beginning of period, we know only our expected output. The actual output is known only by the end of the period. Okay, sir. The cost of material was, I guess it was 1000 into 20. So it was rupees 20,000. Let me check question again. 1000 to 20. Yes, it was 20,000 for material. It was 8,000 for overheads. And it was 10,000. 10,000 for labor, 8,000 for overhead, and minus normal loss का scrap value. So 50 units were scrapped at the rate of rupees 5 per unit. Expected output is 950 units, as you know. So let us calculate 28,000 plus 10, 38,000, 38,000 minus 250. It becomes 37,750. And when you divide by 950, please let me know what do you get. If amount is in decimal, so please let me know the value up to 4 places of decimal. Sir, why you have recorded normal loss in credit side instead of debit side? Which normal loss is part of output. Okay, what we introduce, we put that thing in debit side. Okay, whatever is we get at the end of the process. What do we get at the end of the process? Some process will be lost and some process will be obtained. Whatever units were lost and whatever units were obtained, these are actually part of output. ठीक है जतिन, इसमें ये वाला लॉजिक आपको नहीं बेटा लगाना है कि एक्सपेंसेस एंड लॉसेस आर डेबिटेड होते हैं और इनकम जो होती है बेटा वो क्रेडिट साइड में होती है ना। वो फाइनेंशियल अकाउंटिंग के नॉमिनल अकाउंट में लगता है। प्रोसेस अकाउंट का जतिन सिंपल प्रोसेस ये है, जो भी इनपुट डालोगे, जो भी आप इनिशियली मतलब प्रोसेस में डालोगे वो डेबिट साइड में डाल देना, और जो निकलेगा वो आपका क्रेडिट साइड में आ जाएगा। निकलेगा मतलब चाहे वो खराब हो जाए निकल के, है ना। तो नॉर्मल लॉस भी क्या है, निकल तो गया बट खराब निकले, तो दैट इज पार्ट ऑफ आउटपुट। बताओ जतिन जी क्लियर है या नहीं? ओके जतिन, so 37,750 divided by 950, so what do you get? We get actually 39,000 sorry 39.7368. Okay students, I am taking 4 places after decimal, but if you wish you can take up to 2 places after decimal. Okay sir, 39.7368. I also believe that this amount of 37,750 is correct. Okay, 38,000 minus 250 becomes 37,750. I guess I'm correct also. Divided by 950, so 39.7368. Okay, sir. So let us get back to our processing account also. चलिए, so normal loss, abnormal loss account at the rate of I write here rupees 39.7368. Okay, sir. I hope it is visible to you. Rupees 39.7368. Now multiply 40 units by this rate. What do we get? Let me check also. So 40 units multiplied by 39.7368. I get 1589.47. So I am rounding off. So amount becomes 1589. Okay, sir. Now find out this figure by balancing figure. Okay, sir. Find this figure as a your final figure, which is balancing figure. It is 1000 units for both. Here the amount becomes 38,000. 38,000 minus 250. It is 250, my dear students. 38,000 minus 250 minus 1589. What do you get? So balance, Navneet is saying balance is 36,161. Now what you will do, my dear students? Divide this figure of 36,161 by 910. Divide 36,1061 by 910. The rate should be approximately equal to 39,000.7368. Please divide 36,161 by 910. Your answer should be 39.7368. It might fluctuate. It might fluctuate somehow because I have taken 1589 instead of 1589.47. So it is actually rupees 39.7373. Okay, sir. So in most of the cases, these two rates, the rate of valuing abnormal loss and the rate of valuing our final output, these two rates has to be same. They might vary marginally. ठीक है सर, बहुत थोड़ा इसमें अंतर आ सकता है. एज यू कैन सी कि डेसिमल के बाद स्टार्टिंग के 2 पॉइंट सेम है, 39.73 39.73. बस आखिर की जो दो हम आपकी हमारी जो राइट से जो दो हमारी डिजिट हैं वो चेंज हो रही है. प्लीज लेट मी नो वेदर दिस पॉइंट इज क्लियर टू यू और नॉट. दिस इज द, हाँ जी प्लीज बताइए.
So why did we credit process B?
Why did we
Credit process B.
Why did we credit process B? This output will be transferred to next process because the whole the whatever output we are making, whatever product we are making, it passes through different process. First it will goes into the process A. After the process A will be completed, this whole output will be transferred to next process. So the output of process A will become input for process B. So same process will be applied for process B account also. Are you getting my point?
Yes sir. Thank you.
ओके. ठीक है बेटा, तो आप वेरीफाई भी कर सकते हैं कि आपका एबनॉर्मल लॉस का रेट, यू कैन वेरीफाई योर रेट फॉर एबनॉर्मल लॉस एंड योर रेट फॉर फाइनल आउटपुट विल बी सेम और इट मे फ्लक्चुएट मार्जिनली. ओके माय डियर स्टूडेंट्स, सो दिस प्रोसेस आउटपुट ऑफ प्रोसेस ए, this will be, my dear students, transfer to next process. So it will become 910 and 36,161. So it will become input for process B. Okay, sir. So output of process A becomes input for process B. Okay. Now let us start process B also. In process B, material introduced is 910 units at the rate of rupees 36.7373, and the whole amount becomes 36,161. Okay, sir. Now the amount of wages or labor cost incurred in process B is 15,000. Now for overhead amount for process B is 10,000. Here again we will estimate our normal loss for process B. The question states that again in process B, 5% of input is estimated as normal loss. So let us get back to our working note. Okay, sir. This is for process B. So how many units are introduced in process B? Okay, sir. So there are 910 units only which are transferred from process A. It might possible in some question that some additional quantity of material may also be added in next process. ठीक है, ऐसा भी हो सकता था. It might have been possible that 910 units are transferred from process A and fresh 500 units are also added to process B. In that case, our total input will become 910 plus 500 units, which are freshly added to this process. But in this question, no extra units are introduced in process B. So whatever is output from whatever is output from process A becomes input for process B. So here our input is for 910 units. Here again also we estimate our normal loss. So our normal loss is less normal loss at 5%. So calculate for 5% of 910, it becomes 45.5. We assume our output can take fraction value also. Our expected, what is expected output here? 910 minus 45.5. What do you get, my dear students? 910 minus 40, it becomes, I guess, 970 minus 5, 965. It is 964.5. Sorry, 864.5. Yes, 864.5. Okay, sir. But our actual output is, I guess, 880 units. 880 units is our actual output. So what do we experience here? Here we get abnormal gain because our actual output exceeds our expected output. Or I should say, my actual loss is lesser than expected loss. Okay, sir. If actual output is more than expected output, there is abnormal gain. Abnormal gain implies that my actual loss is lesser than normal loss. So how many units have emerged as abnormal gain? It is 15.5 units. 15.5 units. Okay, students? Chali. So first of all, I get back to my process B account. So I write 15.5 here, valued at the rate of rupees 10 per unit, right? The rate of scrap for next process is rupees 10 per unit. So it becomes 155. Okay, sir. Abnormal loss is recorded on credit side, whereas abnormal gain is recorded on debit side. So here I write abnormal gain. Okay, sir. Sorry, I guess I have made mistake in putting value for normal loss. I think it is 45.5 now. Let me check again. Yes, normal loss is 45.5 units, students. 45.5 becomes 455. I guess it is correct now. And our abnormal gain is for 15.5 units. But I need to find the value of abnormal gain. Okay, sir. So how to calculate value of abnormal gain? By same process which I have applied in process A. I will calculate unit cost for my process B. Okay. Let me calculate unit cost here. Unit cost of process B. First of all, write down whatever material is introduced in process 1. Its worth 30, cost of material was 36,161, and then the cost of labor and overhead were 15,000 and 10,000, less normal loss which was expected in the beginning of the period. although the actual loss was lesser than normal loss, but this cost calculation is done in the beginning of the process. Therefore, I take uh, a scrap of normal loss on the basis of how many quantity were expected as normal loss. So it was actually 455 units, 455 rupees. Divided by expected output, my expected output is actually 864.5. Please make this calculation and let me know what is the unit cost. If the amount is in decimal, please let me know the value of 4 places after decimal. So I guess it is 72.2209. Please confirm whether this figure is correct or not. Navneet is saying, I believe Navneet is correct. Please other student also. 72.2209. I assume this figure is correct. Okay, sir. Okay, students. So I going back to my process B account. So my abnormal gain and the final output is going to be valued at this rate. चलिए तो here it is abnormal gain at the rate of rupees 72.2209. Please multiply 15.5 by 72.2209 and tell me the figure after rounding off. 5 multiplied by 72.22.
Sir,
Calculate.
sir,
So the figure I guess is 1088.
hello.
हाँ जी.
Sir, unit cost sir process में sir 70.2209
Okay.
आ रहा है.
Okay, so it is 70.2209.
Yes sir.
Okay, 70.2209. So 15.5 multiplied by 70.2209. It is actually 108, right? So friends. Okay, the final figure is correct. Okay, sir. Now after this, okay, sir. Whatever output we get in final process, it is transferred to finished goods. So we write finished goods inventory account. ठीक है, या finished goods stock account, whatever you want to write. It is 925.5. It is here again. The final figure will be here 880. 880. It is by final output, or you can calculate this by balance sheet figure 925.5. Also calculate the final value 36,161 plus 15 and 10 25,000 plus 1,088. It is 62,249 less 455. So it is 61,749. Yes, you are correct. Now, how do we verify our answer? Again, divide 61,749 by 880. Okay, 61,749. Sorry, 794. It is 794 or 749. 62,249 minus 455. 61,794. I am getting different answer. Let me check again. 36,161 plus 15,000 plus 10,000 plus 1,088. 62,249 minus 455. 61,794. 794. Yes. 61,794. Now divide this figure by 880. Divide this figure by 880 and your rate should be approximately 70.2209. Okay, sir. So here again, when you divide 61,794 by 880, your rate becomes 70.2204. Okay, sir. It might fluctuate marginally. Okay, sir. So by doing this, you can also check whether your final answer is correct or not. Because abnormal gain, abnormal loss, and final output, these are valued at same rate. After making process A and process B account, we will now prepare normal loss, abnormal gain account. But first, please let me know whether process A and process B account is clear to you or not. बताइए बेटा, प्रोसेस ए भी बेटा कोई डाउट तो नहीं किसी को भी? ठीक है, बिल्कुल सिंपल सा क्वेश्चन कराया आपको मैंने. चलिए, आई गेस मोस्ट ऑफ यू आर सेइंग इट इज ओके टू ऑल ऑफ यू. चलिए, नाउ लेट अस प्रिपेयर आवर नॉर्मल लॉस अकाउंट. ठीक है, ओके. फर्स्ट वी राइट नॉर्मल लॉस फ्रॉम प्रोसेस ए. Normal loss from process A was 50 units, which was valued at the rate of rupees 5 per unit. So amount becomes 250. Okay, sir. Now the question is whether this normal loss of 50 units has actually occurred or not. Okay. So in first process, we experience abnormal loss. Occurring abnormal loss implies that whatever we estimated has actually occurred, and some additional loss also occurred, which was classified as abnormal loss. Because this normal loss has actually occurred, so the whole scrap value of this scrap loss of this normal loss would be realized. ओके सर. तो बाय प्रोसेस अकाउंट इसमें 50 यूनिट का लॉस हुआ था नॉर्मल लॉस का, और पहले में पता लगाना है 50 का नॉर्मल लॉस एक्चुअल में हुआ है या नहीं भी हुआ है. तो मैं मालूम चला कि प्रोसेस ए में तो एबनॉर्मल लॉस आया है. इसका ये मतलब है जो एस्टिमेटेड था वो लॉस तो हुआ, उससे ज्यादा हो गया है ना. पर फिलहाल अभी हम किसकी बात कर रहे हैं सर? नॉर्मल लॉस की. तो 50 तो हुआ है ना, इसलिए इस 50 की पूरी स्क्रैप हमें रियलाइज होगी. ओके सर. नाउ लेट अस मूव टू प्रोसेस बी. इन प्रोसेस बी our estimated normal loss was for how many units? I guess it was 45.5 units. 45.5 units, which were expected to realize at the rate of 10 per unit, amounted to rupees 455. But again, we ask ourselves whether this normal loss, which was estimated in the beginning of process B, actually occurred or not. We check that, we find that in process B, there is abnormal gain of 15.5 units. Experiencing abnormal gain implies that our normal loss has been reduced. Whatever we expected that our 45.5 units will be lost in process B, but it is actually not the case. Only 30 units were lost. Out of the 910 units introduced in process B, our actual output was 880 units. So only 30 units were lost. So our normal loss was reduced from 45.5 units to 30 units. Because there is actual normal loss of 30 units only, so we will get scrap for 30 units only. So by cash account, I write here 30 units at the rate of rupees 10 per unit, it is 300. ओके सर, बताइए ये पॉइंट क्लियर है या नहीं? सेकंड प्रोसेस का हमें पूरा स्क्रैप नहीं मिलेगा. सेकंड प्रोसेस में केवल 30 का ही स्क्रैप मिलेगा. प्लीज लेट मी नो वेदर दिस पॉइंट इज क्लियर टू यू और नॉट. चलिए बेटा, एक बार दोबारा ये प्रोसेस आपको बता देता हूँ, एक बार हिंदी में एक बार इंग्लिश में. फर्स्ट लेट अस अंडरस्टैंड दिस पॉइंट अगेन इन इंग्लिश. Okay, in process A, we estimated that our normal loss would be 50 units. Okay, sir. But in process A, we get additional loss also known as that normal loss was for 40 units. Okay? So in process A, the normal loss, whatever estimated, that has occurred actually. Moreover, additional loss also took place in process B. In preparation of normal loss account, we need to check whether estimated normal loss has occurred at full or not. In process A, full normal loss of 50 units has occurred, so we will get scrap value for all 50 units. पहली प्रोसेस में 50 यूनिट का नॉर्मल लॉस एक्सप्रेस किया था, और 50 यूनिट का नॉर्मल लॉस तो हुआ ही है, 40 का एक्स्ट्रा हो गया. 40 का जो एक्स्ट्रा हुआ है वो एबनॉर्मल है, अभी उसको छोड़ो, लेकिन 50 का नॉर्मल लॉस तो हुआ ना. तो जो हमने यहाँ एक्सपेक्ट किया था दिस इज आवर एक्सपेक्टेशन कि 50 यूनिट्स विल बी नॉर्मली लॉस. ये एक्चुअल में लॉस भी हुई, इसलिए इसका पूरा पूरा स्क्रैप मिल गया. 250 एस्टिमेट किया था, 250 ही मिल गया. But in case of process B, we estimated that our normal loss would be 45.5 units. But by the end of the process B, we came to know that there is abnormal gain of 15.5 units. What is meant by abnormal loss? Sorry, what is meant by abnormal gain? Whenever there is abnormal gain, it implies that your normal loss is lesser than expected. कभी भी अगर एबनॉर्मल गेन होता है तो इसका ये मतलब होगा आपका नॉर्मल लॉस कम हो गया है. कितने से सर? तो 45.5 में से बेटा, 45.5 में से ये जो हमारा 45.5 था, इसमें से 15.5 का एबनॉर्मल गेन हटा दो, तो एक्चुअल नॉर्मल लॉस 30 का ही हुआ है. बिकॉज आवर एक्चुअल नॉर्मल लॉस इज फॉर 30 यूनिट्स ओनली, सो स्क्रैप विल बी रियलाइज फॉर दिस 30 यूनिट्स ओनली. बताओ ये पॉइंट क्लियर है या नहीं? जब भी एबनॉर्मल गेन होगा इसका मतलब है नॉर्मल लॉस रिड्यूस हो गया है. इसलिए जब हम नॉर्मल लॉस की स्क्रैप दिखाएंगे तो 45.5 में से एबनॉर्मल गेन की क्वांटिटी को माइनस कर देंगे. प्लीज लेट मी नो वेदर दिस पॉइंट इज क्लियर टू यू और नॉट. ओके सर, I guess this point is clear. So what about remaining 15.5 units? You ask me, sir, though this account is not yet tallied, there is difference in both sides. So what is about remaining 15.5 units? These 15.5 units cannot be scrapped, could not be scrapped. Why, sir? Because of abnormal gain. Right, sir? These 15.5 units could not be scrapped at the rate of rupees 10 per unit because of abnormal gain. So this amount we charge to abnormal gain account. This amount will be charged to abnormal gain account at the same rate which could have been realized had there been no abnormal gain. So amount would be 155. Okay, sir. So in case of abnormal gain, our normal loss is broken into two parts. Okay, sir. This accounting treatment is very important. Please make this count. Whenever there will be abnormal gain, our normal loss will be broken into two parts. The amount of abnormal gain, the quantity and amount of abnormal gain would be transferred to abnormal gain account, and the unit left, uh, units of normal loss left after abnormal gain, which is 30 units. This is our actual normal loss, which will be actually scrapped and which would be actually realized by us. So 15.5 units which could not be scrapped because there is no normal loss, that would be charged against the abnormal gain account. बताइए बेटा ये क्लियर है या नहीं? लेकिन जिस प्रोसेस में एबनॉर्मल लॉस होता है उसमें नॉर्मल लॉस का पूरा पूरा स्क्रैप मिल जाता है. बट इफ देयर इज एबनॉर्मल लॉस इन एनी प्रोसेस, देन फुल अमाउंट ऑफ normal loss would be realized by us. Please confirm whether this point is clear to you or not, students. In case of abnormal gain, the normal loss would always be broken into two parts. First part is actual normal loss, and the second part, normal loss which did not actually occur. Okay, I guess this point is clear to you now. Now I am moving toward the next question, next part, which is for abnormal loss. We actually got abnormal loss in process A only. So actual normal loss for process A was, it was 40 units valued at the rate of, I'm going back to my account again, process A account again. So it was 1589 valued at the rate of 39.7368. ठीक है, 1589 was actual cost of our abnormal loss. 1589. 1589. Okay, sir. 1589. And whatever be its rate, please write this rate here also. Okay. These 40 units which were lost abnormally were costed us rupees 1589, but these are also scrapped at the same rate at which normal units were scrapped. So 50 units will fetch us rupees 5 per unit at the rate of rupees 5 per unit. So we actually got rupees 250 for abnormal loss costing rupees 1589. Right, students? So the cost that could not be recovered is our actual loss, and this amount will be transferred to costing profit and loss account. So 1589 minus 250. So amount becomes 1339. It is our balance figure, and that would be transferred to costing profit and loss account. Costing profit and loss account. This is actual value of our abnormal loss. The cost of abnormal loss was 1589, but against that normal loss, we have received back rupees 250 by scrapping these 50 units. So net abnormal loss is 1339 from process A, which will be transferred to profit and loss account. Like we prepare profit and loss account in financial accounting. Similarly, we prepare profit and loss account in costing also. But how do we make journal entry and how do we make profit and loss account, that you will study in a separate chapter known as cost bookkeeping. Okay. For now, you can assume profit and loss account is similar to costing profit and loss account is similar to what we actually prepare in financial accounting. So this amount will be debited to costing profit and loss account. बताइए बेटा, ये abnormal loss account क्लियर है या नहीं?
सर हम दोनों साइड बैलेंस नहीं करते हैं.
दोनों साइड बेटा बैलेंस हो गई. देखो ये 40 और ये 589 था, ये डिफरेंस निकाल दिया मैंने 1339 का. ओ सॉरी, ये मैंने 250 क्यों लिख दिया, ये 1589 है बेटा. अब बताओ बेटा ठीक है या गलत है? सॉरी, ये 50 भी क्यों है बेटा, क्या कर रहा हूं मैं? सॉरी बच्चों, माय मिस्टेक. ये तो 40 था ना, ये तो 40 था. अब 40 को 5 पे करोगे तो 200 आएगा, और मैंने 50 का लॉस मान लिया अब नॉर्मल. सॉरी बेटा, इट वाज मिस्टेक फ्रॉम माय साइड. 1589 minus 200, so it is 1389 actually. Please forgive me, and now let me know whether this account is clear to you or not. You might be wondering from where these 50 units have been written on credit side. Now I guess this account is clear to you. 40 units abnormal loss taken from process A. It costed us rupees 1589. These 40 units will be scrapped at the same rate at which normal loss was scrapped at rupees 5 per unit. So out of the total cost of abnormal loss 1589, rupees 200 is recovered by us. So difference 1389 would be our net loss that would be transferred to costing profit and loss account. बताओ बेटा, ये पॉइंट क्लियर है या नहीं? Yes, now clear ना? Okay. I am making mistake, so many of you or all of you may be wondering what is happening here. Okay, students, sometimes it happens. As a human, we are bound to make mistakes, but please do not make mistakes in your examination. Please let me know whether it is clear to you or not. Then only I will proceed to abnormal gain account. I believe it is now okay to all of you. Next is abnormal gain account. So abnormal gain account, abnormal gain was actually appeared in process B debit side. So I'm making cross posting here. So I write process B
सर
account.
पूछ लो.
हाँ जी, बताइए बताइए.
सर फिर अगर हम एबनॉर्मल लॉस को 5 पर यूनिट पे क्यों लेते हैं, क्योंकि वो तो स्क्रैप वैल्यू नहीं है.
देखो क्या होता है, जो हमें स्क्रैप का रेट दिया होता है ना, वो जो भी यूनिट्स आपकी खराब हो जाती हैं उसका रेट आपको दिया होता है. अब चाहे वो नॉर्मली खराब हुई हो, मतलब आपने एक्सपेक्ट किया था कि इतने आपका खराब होगा, या जो एडिशनल खराब होगा, सबके लिए लेते हैं. जब तक कि आपको एबनॉर्मल लॉस के लिए डिफरेंट रेट ना दिया हो कि नॉर्मल लॉस का स्क्रैप इतना है और एबनॉर्मल लॉस का स्क्रैप इतना है, तो वी मेक एजम्पशन कि जो स्क्रैप रेट है वो सारी यूनिट्स के लिए, चाहे वो नॉर्मली लॉस हुई हो चाहे एबनॉर्मली लॉस हुई। बताइए
Okay.
ये पॉइंट क्लियर है नहीं? ठीक हो गया ना? ओके। सो प्रोसेस बी देखेंगे प्यारे बच्चों। तो प्रोसेस बी में कितने यूनिट्स मेरी एबनॉर्मल गेन थी? 15.5 थी और 1088 का इसका अमाउंट था। चलो सर, सो आवर एक्चुअल गेन 15.5 1088, 15.5 1088। तो 15.5 1088, it was our abnormal gain that we experienced in process B, but we will charge normal loss some amount from normal loss account because some scrap value could have not been recovered by us because of this abnormal gain. So our actual normal gain, our actual abnormal gain would be reduced. Why so, sir? Let me give you one example. Suppose you buy 3 apples from market, you apple 3 apples from market, out of which you assume that one apple will be normal loss, one apple will be normally lost. You were expecting that apple which you expect to be lost normally, that would be sold by you at the rate of rupees 10 per unit, while the other good apples will be sold by you at the rate of rupees 25 per unit. Okay, sir. So when you have actually bought these 3 apples, at the end of the period you came to know that all 3 apples are good. All 3 apples are good. So all 3 apples were sold by you at the rate of rupees 25 per apple. So for the third apple, you are getting rupees 25. Okay, sir. But you were expecting at the beginning of the period, only rupees 10 will be recovered from third apple. You are getting 25 instead of 10, so your net gain would be rupees 15. Okay, sir. Your net gain would be 15, not 25. So this is also the same case. These units were expected to be lost normally, and we were expecting this would fetch us rupees 155. But these units were actually saved by us. It has become our abnormal gain, valuing at the rate of rupees or valuing at amount of rupees 1088. So we actually getting 1088 instead of 155. So what would be our net gain? We have to find balance figure here. बताइए कितना आएगा? 1088 हमें मिला है, या इसकी वर्थ है ये 1080 is the worth of our abnormal gain, which were initially expected to be lost normally. That could have been sold out as a normal loss at the rate of 155. So there is net benefit of 933. This is our gain, and this gain again will be transferred to costing profit and loss account. बताइए सर, बताओ बच्चों ये पॉइंट क्लियर है या नहीं बेटा? एबनॉर्मल गेन हुआ, लेकिन जो नॉर्मल लॉस नहीं हुआ वो हम इसमें चार्ज कर देंगे, फिर नेट गेन निकालेंगे उसके बाद। प्लीज लेट मी नो वेदर दिस पॉइंट इज क्लियर टू यू और नॉट। एप्पल वाला एग्जांपल समझ आ गया होगा बेटा, है ना? जैसे एक सपोज मान लीजिए आदमी के 3 सपोज मान लीजिए बच्चे हैं, उनकी एक बेटा है, फिर एक बेटा है, एक बेटी है, फिर एक बेटा है। तीसरे वाले बेटे पे डाउट है कि ये तो पढ़ता ही नहीं है, तो ये कुछ फैमिली के लिए पैसा वगैरह कमा के लाएगा नहीं, है ना? हाँ जी अर्चना, अभी आप बेटा आपके लिए मैं इंग्लिश में भी इसको एक्सप्लेन करूंगा। तो तीन बच्चे हैं, एक बेटा है, फिर बेटी है, फिर एक तीसरा बेटा है, लेकिन तीसरे बेटे के लिए पेरेंट्स ने एक्सपेक्ट किया है कि ये कुछ भी हमारे लिए अर्न नहीं करेगा। तो इसको हम बेसिकली क्या करेंगे कि इसको छोटी मोटी दुकान में देंगे जहाँ से ये हमें 5,000 रुपया पर मंथ कमा के दे देगा। हुआ कैसा है कि जो वो तीसरा वाला लड़का था वो अच्छी जॉब में लग गया और वो 55,000 पर मंथ कमा रहा है। तो 5,000 की उम्मीद थी और 55 कमा रहा है, तो गेन कितने का हुआ? 50 का गेन हुआ ना। तो वही यहाँ पर हुआ है। ये 15.5 यूनिट हम सोच रहे थे नॉर्मल लॉस है, 155 भी मिलेंगे, बट ये एक्चुअली गेन्ड हो गया, ये नॉर्मल लॉस हुआ ही नहीं, तो इसके बाद 1088 हो गई, तो नेट गेन 933 का हुआ। हाँ जी अर्चना, इन प्रोसेस बी आवर एक्चुअल एबनॉर्मल गेन were 15.5 units amounted to rupees 1088, right? But these 15.5 units were supposed to be lost normally. Okay, and normal gain implies that you have saved some of your not normal loss. These 15.5 units were supposed to be lost normally, and these units were supposed to fetch us rupees 155. but because these units have now abnormally gained by us, and it is worth rupees 1088, so we are getting 1088 instead of 155, which could have been obtained has there been normal loss of 15.5 units. So our net gain would be 9,933 only. बताइए अर्चना, क्लियर है या नहीं? The third apple supposed to get you rupees 10, but somehow that third apple actually becomes good for you, and you actually sold that apple for rupees 25. So you are getting 25 in place of 10. It means you are getting benefit of rupees 15. ओके बेटे, बताओ बेटा, नॉर्मल गेन क्लियर है या नहीं है सबके लिए? इसको तो नॉर्मल लॉस होना था तो 155 ही मिलते, पर ये तो गेन हो गया, इसकी वर्थ इतनी है, तो नेट गेन इतना हुआ. I guess this point is clear to all of you. So this is the basic question from process accounting, from process costing. Okay. So I guess you all of you have noted down this question in your notebook. If anything is left out, please let me know. If you want to write a portion of working note, then please again let me know. If question is clear and is now complete, please let me know. Then I am going to start next topic, next concept. Please confirm, have you done this or not? Okay. चलिए सर. So let me discuss one case with you also. Suppose from process A, your final output was 910 units. Okay, sir. 9 units. As in previous question, our actual final output from process is 910 units, and these 910 units were transferred to process B. But sometimes it happens that our process B has capacity of taking 850 units only at a time. Okay, sir. The output opted in process A was 910 units. These 910 units are supposed to be transferred to next process, which is process B. But our process B has a limiting capacity of 850 units only. But because it means process B can take only 850 units at one time. So what we would actually do, we do not directly transfer our output of process A to next process immediately. In that case, after preparing of process A account, we then make process A inventory account. Process A inventory account. Okay, sir. After making process A account, we do not directly transfer our total output, our whole output to next process. First of all, we transfer our output to inventory. Okay. So how do we make process inventory account? Particular units and amount. What I would do here, I will write here, say process A account. 910 units were finished in process A. Valuing what was the worth of these units? I guess 36,161. Let me check again. Right, 36,161. ठीक है, थोड़ा सा ऊपर आते हैं इसमें भी. तो ये 36,161 was actually received by us from process A, but we are not immediately transferring all the unit to next process. These units are taken into inventory known as process A inventory account. Also suppose we already have some opening balance in this process B from the previous period. In previous month or previous year also, some units were also completed in process A that were not transferred to process B that time. So we already have opening stock of 20 units, and these 20 units suppose of value. Let me check an appropriate amount. Say it is for 8100. Now, because process B has limiting capacity of 850 units also, 850 unit only. So only 850 units can be transferred to process B account, while the other units will still kept as inventory, as closing account. So 850 will be transferred to next process, and remaining units, how many units are left? It is 930. 930 minus 850. So 930 minus 850 becomes 930 minus 850 becomes 80 units, I guess. So how do we find out value of these 850 units and 80 units? How to value these 850 and 80 units? It depends on the method of inventory valuation adopted by the company. If you are assuming the inventories to be valued by FIFO method, first in first out, so we will do calculation for 850 units in such a manner that 20 units will belong to opening balance, valuing rupees 8100, whereas the next 830 units will belong to the fresh output obtained from processing. Or you can also assume the output is valued, the closing stock is valued by weighted average cost method. If I am assuming weighted average cost method, what I would do, first of all, I would calculate total value of my inventory, including the opening balance. So total value becomes 44,261. Then I calculate unit value, 44,261 divided by 930 units. So my unit value becomes 47.5924, and I will value my 850 units at this rate. 850 into 47.5924. Okay, sir, I'm assuming weighted average cost method. So 850 multiplied by 47.5924, the amount becomes 40,453.54. So I should write 40,500, sorry, 40,400 actually. Let me make correction. It is 40,454. Okay, sir. And the balancing figure would be, in this case, 40,261. It is 40,261 minus 40,454. It is 3807. And when I divide it by 80 units, again I will get same rate equivalent to 47.5924, which is actually 47.5875 in this case. So in process B, if I'm making process B account, I will write process A inventory account. I will take 850 units only, amounting to 40,454 at the rate of rupees 47.5924. Okay, sir. If the method of inventory valuation is given to you in question, if questions tells you that company is following FIFO method, then you will follow FIFO method. If the question asks you to follow weighted average method, then you can follow weighted average method. But if question is silent, it does not tell you anything how to value your inventory, so you can take any method. It might be FIFO or it might be weighted average. LIFO should not be followed, because our accounting standard 2 as per financial accounting. Although we are doing cost accounting here, but to avoid our reconciliation work later on at the end of the period, we normally do not value our inventory by LIFO, because accounting standard 2 valuation of inventory in financial accounting does not allow us to value our inventory by LIFO method. So if question is silent, you can take FIFO or you can take weighted average, subject to working note given by you in your question. You have to mention your assumption also in question. But I would tell you, or I would advise you to use weighted average cost method because it is much easier than taking FIFO method. ठीक है बेटा, जहां बताया नहीं होगा वहां पे weighted average ले लेना. Please let me know whether this point is clear to you or not, because similar question on this concept is given in your study material. So sometimes we do not transfer our whole output. हम पूरा का पूरा ट्रांसफर नहीं कर देते हैं बेटे, नोट्स पे स्क्रॉल कर देते हैं. हाँ बेटा कर देता हूँ मैं. चलिए फिर मैं आपको बुक में दिखाता हूँ इस पे कौन सा क्वेश्चन है. चलिए प्लीज जब दिन मुझे आप बेटा बताना जब ये पूरा कर लो आप. ठीक है, ये केवल समझाने के लिए है, आपको शॉर्ट में लिख लोगे तो भी हो जाएगा. ठीक है बेटे. ओके, तो लेट मी शेयर स्टडी नोट, स्टडी मॉड्यूल विद यू टू टेल यू a similar question on this concept is given in the institute module. Let me find out that question first. Please wait. Let me find this question for you. If you have already booked with you, you can tell other students what is page number. Please wait, I am finding out. Let me share module with you. Please wait. Okay, let us find out. Yes, here it is. It is actually question number, illustration number 32. Okay, sir. So what is the page number? It is on page number, I guess it is mentioned at the end of the page, 310. Okay, students. So similar concept has been used in this question, which is illustration 32. Okay, sir. Page number 310, illustration 32 is based on similar concept, in which whatever output you get from process A, it is not actually immediately transferred to next process. It is first taken into inventory account. Then from there, you transfer required input to next process on weighted average cost method. ठीक है सर. तो ये क्वेश्चन नंबर 32 है आपका, ये आपको मैंने बता दिया है. ओल्ड बुक में हो सकता है पेज नंबर कुछ और होगा. In latest module which is available on institute website, it is illustration 32. Okay, so you can also solve first 4 question of this chapter by yourself also, and I am moving toward the next topic. So let me share my writing code with you again. Okay, Vishesh is saying page number 277 in the old book. Okay, students, I have shared my writing board with you. Please let me know whether it is visible to you or not. I'm not sure. Please let me know if writing board is visible to you or not. Yes, I guess it is visible. Okay, right. Okay. So I am moving towards next concept of this topic. ये अब तक जो आपको बताया है that is part of your BCom syllabus also. In BCom pass you also know this topic, but there is some additional topic which are required to be studied in your CMA inter syllabus. So I'm going to discuss that part. Now next part is very technical. You have to understand this topic very carefully. This is the difficult part of this chapter which I'm going to start now. Okay, the next topic is concept of equivalent production units. ठीक है सर, equivalent production unit. चलिए, concept of equivalent production unit. इसका हिंदी में नाम बहुत अच्छा लगता है मुझे, तो मैं लिख देता हूँ. अंग्रेजी वाले बच्चे इसको बिल्कुल अवॉइड करेंगे. ठीक है, एक समान उत्पादित इकाई. ठीक है बेटा, ये बस मैं अपने आप को खुश करने के लिए लिख रहा हूँ. कंसेप्ट ऑफ इक्विवेलेंट प्रोडक्शन यूनिट. ठीक है बेटा, क्या चीज इंपॉर्टेंट टॉपिक, इट इज वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट टॉपिक. कंसेप्ट ऑफ इक्विवेलेंट प्रोडक्शन यूनिट्स. देखें सर ध्यान से. So far we assumed that process output consists of 100% finished goods only, and there are no incomplete units or work in progress unit. For example, suppose we introduce material in a process amounting to rupees 1000, then labor amounting to rupees 600, then overhead rupees 400. So total amount becomes rupees 2000, right? If you ask me, sir, what was your expected output? So I tell you that my output consists of 5 units, and all these units are fully complete. Let me shade this with different color. All these units are fully complete, sir. So my output is for 5 units. Okay, sir. If you ask me, sir, what is your unit cost? So I would tell you it is 2000 divided by 5, because there are 5 units. So my unit cost rupees 400 each. Okay, sir. But now suppose suppose process output consists of 5 units, of which 3 units are 100% complete, while the other 2 units are 50% complete only in respect of material, labor, and overhead. How would you calculate unit cost in this case? So here your output again consists of 5 units, but all 5 units are not 100% complete. Okay, sir. First 3 units are 100% complete. Say it is completely yellowed, so all the units are complete. But for the remaining units, the question tells you, these are only 50% complete. Okay, sir. So how do we calculate? How do we calculate equivalent unit in this case? Okay, sir. So what would I do? I will write these are 3 units. These two 50% complete units would be assumed as one complete unit. बताइए sir, whether this point is clear to you or not. 3 units are 100% complete. Remaining 2 units are only 50% complete. So I would say that 2 halves makes 1. 2 halves make 1. बताओ बेटा, 2 आधे एक के बराबर होते हैं. ये पॉइंट क्लियर है या नहीं बेटा? 2 halves would make 1. बताइए क्लियर है या नहीं? So in this case, my dear students, my equivalent मतलब similar, homogeneous, equivalent production units would be 3 plus 1, 4 units. I would say that 3 complete units and 2 incomplete units which are 50% complete, they will be equivalent to 4 complete units. Gurmanpreet is saying, say if it is 30%, then what we would do? Simple, sir. How would I have obtained this figure of 1? It is actually 2 into 50%, Gurmeet. So it is completed as 1 complete unit. If degree of completion is 30%, so I would say 2 into 30%. So 2 into 30% will become 0.6 units. So I will write 3 plus 0.6 units. So my equivalent production unit would be 3.6 units. बताइए गुरमनप्रीत, क्लियर है या नहीं? जो भी परसेंटेज है बस उसको क्वांटिटी में लगा दो. 50% है तो 1 के बराबर हो गया, 30% है तो 2 का 30% निकाल लो, 0.6 हो जाएगा. तो आई वुड से ये 3.6 के इक्वल हो जाएंगे. बोलो हाँ या ना? है ना बेटा? बेटा सिंपल सा लॉजिक है. मैं आपको बोलूं कि 100 रुपए आपको 2 भाइयों को बांटने हैं और दोनों भाइयों का जो वेट है सर वो 50 किलो है, तो आपने कहा बराबर है, तो सिंपल 100 रुपए को 2 में बांट दो. 50 रुपए उनको मिल जाएंगे. बट एक भाई का वेट 50 किलो है, दूसरे भाई का वेट 25 किलो है. अब आप बेटा बांटोगे कैसे? है ना? तो अब क्या करोगे, जो बड़ा भाई है जो 50 किलो का है उसके 25-25 के 2 टुकड़े निकाल दो. तो 25-25 के 3 पार्ट हो जाएंगे और 100 को 3 में डिवाइड कर दो. तो 33.33 फॉर ईच 25 kg आपका हो जाएगा. तो जिसका 2 है उसका 33.33 इंटू 2 हो जाएगा. तो 50 वाले को 67 मिल जाएंगे, 25 वाले को 33 मिल जाएंगे. ठीक है, ये हम कुछ नहीं कर रहे हैं, ये बस हम रेशो बेटा निकाल रहे हैं. एक तरीके से रेशो ही निकाला है हमने. ओके, आई गेस दिस पॉइंट इज क्लियर टू यू. चलो यहाँ से आगे बढ़ते हैं जी. तो यहाँ से मेरी यूनिट कॉस्ट क्या आएगी? व्हाट वुड बी माय यूनिट कॉस्ट इन दिस केस? यूनिट कॉस्ट वुड बी, इट वाज रुपीज 2000 divided by 4, it is rupees 500 units, rupees 500 per unit. I have already said unit cost, so there is no need to writing again 500 per unit. So cost of process output. How would you verify cost of your process output? So you would say finished goods inventory or finished good output. It would be 3 into 500, 1500. And work in progress inventory. Work in progress means those inventory on which work is still to be done, which are incomplete. So you would say 2 into 500 into 50%, or you would write 1 into 500, because these two units were equivalent to one complete unit. So it will becomes 500. So total cost would be 2000. Please let me know whether this point is clear to you or not. This is the concept of equivalent production unit. When some of your output consists of finished and WIP inventory, so you convert your WIP inventory into equivalent production unit. बताइए point clear है या नहीं? Okay, I guess this concept is very clear to you. But sir, this is not the end. You might face more technical problem. So let me deal with that thing also. But there might be a situation in which WIP units, that is, yeah, I should say, in which all WIP units, that is incomplete units, may not reach same degree of completion in respect of all elements of cost, that is, which are material, labor and overhead. क्या मतलब है बच्चों? Please let us get back to our previous example. In previous example, I told you these two units are 50% complete only. These two units are 50% complete only. When I say 50% complete, it means these units have consumed 50% of material, 50% of labor, and 50% of overhead. So degree of completion is equal for all element of cost, whether it is material, whether it is labor, and whether it is overhead. But it is not the case always. Sometimes it happens that degree of completion might differ for material, for labor it may also differ, and for overhead it may also differ. So there might not be uniform degree of completion for all element of cost. It might be possible that degree of completion for material is 100%. That is, your WIP consists of 100% of material, 60% of labor, and 40% of overheads. Or it might be possible that your WIP consists of 0% of material, but 50% of labor and 50% of overheads. Why it happens, sir? Why does it happen? ऐसा क्यों होता है? The degree of completion may vary for each element of cost. Let me give you one example first, and then I will explain you what are the reason behind having different degree of completion for different element of cost. Let me take same example. These are 5 units, out of which these 3 units are 100% complete. Okay, sir? But in case of these units, the question tells you these are 100% complete unit, but these units are WIP, which means incomplete, having degree of completion for material 100%, degree of completion for labor 50%, and degree of completion for overhead 25%. Are you getting my point? WIP consists of material, labor, and overhead, but all these resources have reached different degree of completion. In previous example, all elements of cost in WIP consist of equal degree of completion. What might be the reason for having different degree of completion? It is because of the many technical factors. One is, it might be possible that material is introduced in the beginning of the process. कभी कभार ऐसा होता है कि मटेरियल को प्रोसेस के बिगिनिंग में इंट्रोड्यूस करते हैं. सो व्हेनेवर मटेरियल इज introduced in the beginning of the process, in that case degree of completion for material immediately becomes 100% as soon as you start your work. For example, you are making a painting, or you are painting a picture of your friend. For making a picture, you need paper, you need a white sheet. Whenever you start your work, whenever you start painting, you take full sheet of paper immediately. You take one whole page immediately. So material becomes 100% immediately that time. Okay, sir. Now the picture that you are painting will take 1 hour. Now so far you have spent only say half an hour in that painting. In that case, you have consumed 50% of your labor. Correct, sir. But and again, in case of overhead, suppose for calculation of overhead, you make an assumption that overhead are recovered as 50% of labor. So if work of labor is 50% done, then work of overhead will be 25% done. बेटा यही चीज मैं हिंदी में एक बार बता देता हूँ. मान लो लोकेश, ऐसा होता है कि आप एक बहुत तगड़े पेंटर हो और आप अपने फ्रेंड को कहते हो कि आज आप अपने फ्रेंड की पेंटिंग बनाओगे. तो आपका फ्रेंड आपके सामने बिल्कुल बैठ जाता है और आप पेंटिंग बनाना स्टार्ट करते हो. पेंटिंग बनाने के लिए आप फटाफट से पहले एक व्हाइट शीट निकाल लेते हो. जैसे ही आपने काम स्टार्ट किया, व्हाइट शीट मटेरियल है बेटा, जो आप उस पूरी पेंटिंग में कंज्यूम होगी, वो आपने पेंटिंग प्रोसेस के बिगिनिंग में ही ले लिया. और जैसे ही आपने उसके ऊपर पेंसिल चलाई, हमने मान लिया मटेरियल पूरा का पूरा प्रोसेस में इंट्रोड्यूस हो चुका है, तो मटेरियल तो उसी वक्त 100% हो जाएगा. अब ये मान के चलो कि भाई पेंटिंग बनाने में आपको 1 घंटा लगेगा और अभी आपने आधा घंटा ही लगाया है, तो इसका ये मतलब है लेबर का काम, जो आपका लेबर है उसका काम अभी आधा ही हुआ है, इसलिए लेबर का डिग्री ऑफ कंप्लीशन 50% हो जाएगा. इसलिए लेबर का जो 50% है, तो लेबर का जो डिग्री कंप्लीशन है वो 50% हो जाएगा. ओवरहेड जो आपका जिस जगह आप बना रहे हो वहां का रेंट भी जाता है. ठीक है सर, वहां पे जो एसेट है आपकी उस पर डेप्रिसिएशन भी लगता है. जैसे पेंट ब्रश से आप पेंटिंग कर रहे हो, उसको और पेंटिंग जगह भी यूज करोगे तो उसका भी डेप्रिसिएशन लगेगा. तो डेप्रिसिएशन या जो आपके ओवरहेड है उसको आप रिकवर करते हो 50% ऑफ लेबर पे, है ना. आप एज्यूम करके आपने क्या रखा है, एजम्पशन ली हुई है कि मेरा जो ओवरहेड जो भी होगा वो लेबर का 50% होगा. तो अगर लेबर 50% है तो आप 50% का भी आधा कर दोगे, तो ये 25% हो जाएगा. बताओ बेटा वेदर दिस पॉइंट इज क्लियर टू यू और नॉट. मटेरियल 100% क्यों है? क्योंकि प्रोसेस ऐसी है, आप बिगिनिंग में ही पूरा मटेरियल लगा देते हो. लेबर क्योंकि आपको 1 घंटा लगेगा, आपने आधा घंटा ही लगाया तो 50 मान लिया. और ओवरहेड तो आप सिंपल मान के चल रहे हो कि लेबर का आधा होता है ना. इट कैन बी एनी रेट. तो जब भी मटेरियल प्रोसेस के बिगिनिंग में इंट्रोड्यूस होता है, प्लीज मार्क दिस पॉइंट. whenever question tells you that material is introduced in the beginning of process, it always mean that degree of completion for material is 100%. ठीक है सर. जब भी मटेरियल प्रोसेस के बिगिनिंग में स्टार्ट हो जाएगा तो मटेरियल को हम 100% ले लेते हैं तभी के तभी. बाकी लेबर तो ग्रेजुअली टाइम के साथ होगा और ओवरहेड का भी आपको बताया होगा कि क्या आपका सीन होगा. कभी कभार मटेरियल जो होता है सर वो प्रोसेस के एंड में लगता है. सर मटेरियल प्रोसेस के एंड में कैसे लगता है? सपोज मान लो समवन हैज डाइड बेटा. सपोज मान लीजिए कोई बंदा मर गया, उसके पहले कबर खुदेगी, कबर खुदने के पहले लेबर लाएंगे, लेबर खोदना स्टार्ट करेगा, काम वगैरह स्टार्ट कर देगा. लेबर इनकर हो रहा है तो लेबर के ऊपर ओवरहेड भी निकाल ही लेंगे कोई रेट वगैरह मान के। फिर वो बंदा जब पूरा गड्ढा खुद जाएगा, है ना, वो पूरा कफन खुद जाएगा, फिर उसको वो कफन में डाल के उसको गाड़ देंगे। तो यहाँ पर मटेरियल कब लग रहा है बेटा? प्रोसेस के एंड में लग रहा है, मतलब वो कबर खुदने के बाद। इफ समवन डाइज, so first of all we dig our land, ठीक है, we dig a, I can say कबर को क्या बोलते हैं बेटा इंग्लिश में, है ना, क्या नाम है, फर्स्ट ऑफ ऑल वी डिग दैट प्लेस, देन आफ्टर दैट प्लेस हैज बीन कंप्लीटली डग आउट, ग्रेव, यस ग्रेव से वेरी गुड। तो फर्स्ट ऑफ ऑल वी मेक स्पेस फॉर ग्रेव, and after that work for grave is complete, then only we put our coffin or that box in which the body is put for rest in peace, that is put at the last of the process. So whenever question tells you कि मटेरियल प्रोसेस के एंड में डाला है ना, उसका डिग्री ऑफ कंप्लीशन 0% हो जाएगा। बताइए बेटा ये पॉइंट याद रहेगा या नहीं? कभी भी मटेरियल इज इंट्रोड्यूस इन द बिगिनिंग ऑफ प्रोसेस, टेक डिग्री ऑफ कंप्लीशन फॉर मटेरियल एट 100%, और कभी भी बेटा एंड में होगा, ठीक है, तो बेटा ये क्या होगा आपका 0% माना जाएगा। ठीक है बेटे, ये ग्रेव वाला एग्जांपल जस्ट अभी कुछ साल पहले से हुआ था कि समवन इन माय फ्रेंड सर्कल एक्चुअली डाइड, सो व्हेन आई विजिटेड देम, तो ऑल दैट वर्क वाज गोइंग ऑन, बट अब कॉस्टिंग इतना पढ़ लेते हैं हमारे सीएमए में कि आप फाउंडेशन में कॉस्टिंग पढ़ते हो, इंटर में कॉस्टिंग पढ़ते हो, आप फाइनल में कॉस्टिंग पढ़ते हो, तो हर जगह वो कॉस्टिंग वाला लॉजिक आई जाता है। ये धीरे धीरे ये जो बेसिक इंस्टिक्ट है ये आपका भी डेवलप हो जाएगा, है ना, इतना कॉस्टिंग आपको सीएमए इंस्टीट्यूट ओवर द पीरियड बढ़ा देगा। Even sometime it happens when my wife actually brings apple for me, and she suppose divides apple into 5 parts. So sometime I ask him what is price of that apple. She says कि one apple is costing for rupees 20. She divides it into 5 parts, so I say it is rupees 4 per piece. Okay, so sometime it happens, ये ऐसी हैबिट वगैरह हो जाती है कि हर चीज कॉस्टिंग निकल जाती है। So you might not be liking this example of graveyard, but it is my actually I'm uh, trying to tell you that whenever question tells you material is introduced in the beginning of process, degree of completion would always be 100%, and whenever material is introduced at the end of the process, degree of completion would be 0%. ये दो चीजें आपको ध्यान में रखनी है बस, ठीक है सर। बाकी इन मोस्ट ऑफ द क्वेश्चन आपको डिग्री ऑफ कंप्लीशन क्वेश्चन में दिया होगा। ओके सर, चलिए सर। सो हाउ डू वी कैलकुलेट यूनिट कॉस्ट इन दिस केस? 100% कंप्लीट हो गया, WIP मटेरियल 100%, लेबर 50% एंड ओवरहेड इज 25%। ओके सर, सो इन दिस केस we calculate equivalent production unit. We calculate equivalent production units. In this case, we calculate equivalent production units for each element cost of separately, and also we calculate unit cost for each element of cost separately. Okay sir, so what I would do, I will calculate equivalent production units separately for material, for labor and for overhead. So in this case, equivalent production units for material. Okay sir, 3 units are complete, 2 units are 100% complete in respect of material. So it would be 3 plus 2, 5 units. Now in case of labor, I would write 3 units plus 2 into 50%, because in case of labor, in respect of labor, units are complete by 50% only. So 3 plus 1, it becomes 4 units. Now in case of overhead, I write 3 plus 2 into 25%, it becomes 3.05, so 3.5 units. Please let me know whether this thing is clear to you or not. After it, I am going to calculate unit cost separately. So I have calculated equivalent production units separately for material, labor and overhead because degree of completion is different for all these three elements. I guess ये पॉइंट क्लियर है बेटा आपका. चलिए तो आगे बढ़ते हैं यहाँ से. ओके गुड. बाकी इस पे क्वेश्चन कैसे होगा बेटा वो भी बताऊंगा, ठीक है. अभी मैं कंसेप्ट बिल्ड कर रहा हूँ आपका. क्वेश्चन भी हो जाएगा, उसकी चिंता मत करना, बिल्कुल कोई दिक्कत नहीं है. बहुत ही प्यारे तरीके से क्वेश्चन कराएंगे आपको, लेकिन केवल कंसेप्ट पहले बिल्ड कर लो. अब यहाँ से निकालेंगे हम यूनिट कॉस्ट ऑफ मटेरियल. So what was the cost of material in my question? I guess it was rupees 1000. Let me check. Let me check again. I guess yes, it was 1000 for material, 600 for labor and 400 for overhead, right sir? So let us get back to that part. So 1000 is amount of material. Equivalent unit of material is 5 units. So 1000 by 5, it becomes rupees 200. Then unit cost of labor, amount of labor is rupees 600, and the equivalent unit for labor is 4 units. So it becomes 150, I guess. And then unit cost of overhead 400 divided by 3.5. So 400 divided by 3.5, it becomes 114.2857. 2857. The total unit cost becomes 200 plus 150, 114.2857. It becomes 464.2857. Yes, sir. Now, how do I verify my total cost? Now, verification of process cost. राउंड ऑफ कर लो बेटा, कोई दिक्कत नहीं है, लेकिन अगर डेसिमल में हो तो कम से कम 2 पॉइंट तो जरूर लो जतिन, ठीक है बेटा. पूरा राउंड ऑफ मत करना, क्योंकि ये हमारा फाइनल आंसर नहीं है ना. आप यहाँ राउंड ऑफ कर दोगे तो वो जो राउंडिंग ऑफ का एरर है वो एक्यूमुलेट होके बहुत बड़ा हो जाता है, फिर एंड में फिगर आपकी जो है वो मिलती नहीं है. इसे डेसिमल के बाद कम से कम 2 तो जरूर लो, लेकिन नियर एक्यूरेट के लिए मैं 4 जो है वो लेके चलता हूँ. ओके, और आई शुड से डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन ऑफ प्रोसेस कॉस्ट. चलिए सर, तो फर्स्ट इज finished goods inventory. How many units were actually complete? Only 3 units were actually complete in respect of material, labor and overhead. So 3 into 464.2857. Okay sir, this is the rate of one complete unit. So 464.2857 multiplied by 3, it becomes 1392.8. So I am rounding off here 1393 sir. Now work in progress inventory. In case of work in progress inventory, I will make calculations separately for material, separately for labor and separately for overhead. It is for material, then labor, and then overheads. Okay, sir. So 2 units were incomplete. Then I write degree of completion. Degree of completion is 100% for material, 50% for labor, and 25% of overhead. Multiplied by their unit rate of material, unit rate of labor, and unit rate of overhead. Okay, sir. So unit rate of material was rupees 200 for material, 150 for labor, 150 for labor, and I guess 114 point. Let me check again. 114.2857. Okay, sir. What would be the figure? So 2 ka 100% and then multiplied by 200 becomes 400. It becomes 150. 2 ka 50% 1 of 150. Period 2 ka 25% multiplied by 114.2857. It becomes 57.14. Okay, sir. So I write simply 57 only by rounding it off. 150 plus 57, it becomes 607. Now my total cost becomes 2000. This is how we have distributed our total process cost. Please let me know whether this particular concept is clear to you or not, because in next class we are going to solve question on this concept. Okay, sir. This is the most difficult part of this chapter, but if you are clear with this, okay, then the problem becomes easy for you. बताओ बेटा कोई डाउट है या नहीं? ये मैंने डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन कैसे किया है, ये प्रोसेस का राउंड अप करके, हाँ तुम पहले का बात पूछ रहे हैं, स्टार्टिंग से दिखा दो।
सर एक बार ओवरहेड वाला एक बार समझा दीजिए।
हाँ जी, ओवरहेड वाले का क्या था कि जैसे मटेरियल का डिग्री ऑफ कंप्लीशन 100% था, लेबर का 50% था और ओवरहेड का 25% था। ओवरहेड के लिए हम क्या करते हैं, ओवरहेड के लिए हम ओवरहेड को रिकवर करने का रेट निकालते हैं। एक सेप्टर चैप्टर आएगा ओवरहेड्स, है ना। अभी मैं क्या कराऊंगा, पहले करा रहा हूँ आपको प्रोसेस कॉस्टिंग, फिर जॉइंट और बाय आपको कराऊंगा, जॉइंट और बाय के बाद मोस्ट प्रोबेबली मैं ओवरहेड स्टार्ट करूंगा। ओवरहेड में आप ये सीखेंगे कि ओवरहेड के लिए हम एक रिकवरी रेट निकालते हैं, और वो रिकवरी रेट कई बार लेबर के बेस पे निकाला जाता है, कई बार लेबर आर के बेस पे निकालते हैं, कई बार मशीन आर के बेस पे निकालते हैं। तो ओवरहेड का जो भी पैटर्न होगा, वो पैटर्न हमें क्वेश्चन में दिया होता है, हमें बेसिकली मतलब बताया होगा। अगर क्वेश्चन कहता है कि ओवरहेड का डिग्री ऑफ कंप्लीशन लेबर के डिग्री ऑफ कंप्लीशन का आधा है, तो लेबर का जो भी डिग्री ऑफ कंप्लीशन दिया होगा आप सीधे उसी का मतलब क्या नाम है ले लोगे। तो अगर लेबर का डिग्री ऑफ कंप्लीशन 50% था, उसका आधा ले लिया हमने 25%। बाकी जरूरी नहीं है कि आधा ही होगा। अगर ओवरहेड का 40% दिया है तो 40% ले लो, है ना। अगर 30% दिया है तो बेटा 30% ले लो, जो भी आपको दिया वो हम ले लेंगे। बाकी कॉस्ट एलोकेट कैसे करिए ये समझ में आया या नहीं, ये मुझसे पूछ लो आप। सर प्लीज आस्क इंस्टीट्यूट टू अपलोड ऑल क्लास टाइमली। ठीक है बेटा, ईशा मैं बोल देता हूँ बेटे। सर कैन यू प्रोवाइड द होल क्लास लिंक? हिमांशु, ये आप यूट्यूब पे सर्च करोगे, एक NIRC दिल्ली के नाम से चैनल है, ठीक है, वहाँ पे इंस्टीट्यूट की सारी क्लासेस अवेलेबल हैं। बाकी आप यूट्यूब पे अगर CMA प्रकाश शर्मा सर्च करोगे तो मैंने कॉस्टिंग का लगभग 60-70% सिलेबस ऑलरेडी यूट्यूब में डाल रखा है। तो वहाँ पर प्रोसेस कॉस्टिंग का भी ऑलरेडी पूरा लेक्चर है, ठीक है। पर यूट्यूब में जो लेक्चर मैंने डाले हुए हैं वो सिर्फ हिंदी में, इंग्लिश में नहीं है, ठीक है बेटे। सर लेना है एक, सर क्या कहते हैं, इक्विवेलेंट प्रोडक्शन यूनिट में बेटा अभी एक केस और है जतिन, जब हमें ओपनिंग WIP भी दिया होता है। अभी केवल क्लोजिंग में WIP है, जब ओपनिंग में WIP होगा तो काम थोड़ा और डिफिकल्ट हो जाता है, वो हम नेक्स्ट वाली क्लास में। ओके स्टूडेंट्स, सो दिस इज ऑल फॉर टुडे। बेटा कोई भी डाउट है तो आप इसमें नंबर डाल दें। बाकी आई एम थोड़ा मैं बेटा बिजी चल रहा हूँ आजकल, ठीक है, थोड़ा पर्सनल लाइफ में ऑफिस लाइफ में थोड़ा सा इशू की वजह से, काम की वजह से वन ऑफ माई फैमिली मेम्बर इज नॉट वेल, so I might not be able to take doubts from last 2 weeks. बट आई विल ट्राई। आप भेजें मुझे और मैं कोशिश करूंगा कि जल्द से जल्दी उसका रिप्लाई करूं। डिविडेंड पॉलिसी का है बेटा, एफएम का डिविडेंड पॉलिसी का लेक्चर ऑलरेडी मेरे यूट्यूब चैनल पे है। ठीक है बेटे, बाकी आप कोई भी टॉपिक पढ़ते हो यूट्यूब पे डाल दिया करो, बहुत सारी फैकल्टी का आपको मिलेगा। आप कोचिंग क्लासेस ले रहे हैं, अच्छी बात है। आजकल यूट्यूब पे बहुत सारा मटेरियल अवेलेबल है, आपको हर टीचर का मिल जाएगा, जहां से समझ आए वहां से पढ़ो। ओके बच्चों, सो आई एंड माय क्लास फॉर टुडे। This is all we have for today, and I wish you all the best for rest of the day. Okay, students, please take good care of yourself.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah, welcome, and please be sure that you solve all questions from Institute Study Material plus MTP plus RTP, or if possible, solve question from scanner also. Okay, sir. If you complete your study material on RTP MTP, that is sufficient to get you good marks in your all exams. Okay, students, so I wish you all the best. I hope that you will take care of yourself and keep studying and keep doing your best. Goodbye, students. Thank you all.